I gotta ask you, how real or what was to it with you and Tank actually being a thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Jake Paul, isn't he? So he's got. I don't know whether he'll fight
Lamont Roach.
I don't know if he'll still fight Lamont Roach. I know he's fighting Jake Paul in November, and then maybe Shakur after that.
Thank you, Eddie.
Okay, we got breaking news here. Eddie Hearn just dropped a huge bombshell about Jake Paul's next fight lineup. Not only is he going to fight Chavez, but he casually mentions a possible Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight in November. And Jake himself has now responded, so let's get into this.
Just one other question again for our public in America. Jake Paul, Chavez, does that fight legitimize Jake Paul, or is it just another spectacle?
Listen, I think if Chavez comes in any kind of shape with any kind of desire, maybe it can be. It's not a terrible fight. You know, we know that Gervonta's going to fight Jake Paul in November. You know, we know that Gervonta's going to fight Jake Paul in November.
Okay, in case you didn't know, Eddie Hearn was suing Jake Paul, but on April 1st, not that long ago, they finally reached an agreement, so there's no lawsuit anymore, right? So their beef, I don't know if it's squashed, but there's no lawsuit anymore. But you just heard him say in 2 different clips now that Jake was going to fight Gervonta Davis, and it's hard for me to even believe that because Gervonta Davis fighting at 135, Jake fighting at 200. I mean, walk around weight, Gervonta's at what, 150 pounds I just saw online from a clip where he has to stand on a scale.
Yeah, sir. You're all good, thank you.
How much I weigh?
154.
154?
Yes, sir.
All right, weigh me one more time.
All right, 150.
150?
I'm telling you, I don't know how this is possible, but he's either trying to stir something up right now or this could be real.
And then we'll see what happens if there's an AJ fight. Be interested to go from Gervonta Davis to Anthony Joshua, but I don't think the Chavez fight is terrible. I think it's a smart bit of business. Hopefully Chavez can get himself up for it. He don't have too long. He's been through a lot, but he was once a decent fighter. It was a long time ago.
Thank you, Eddie. Last time I saw you personally was in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, and there was a lot going on that night.
So somehow, some way, we're going to see right now, Jake says Gervonta was on the list to fight. They were even in negotiations, but then we're going to go over a tweet that was just dropped by Jake.
I gotta ask you, how real or what was to it with you and Tank actually being a thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
Okay, so it might have been in the cards, but now we got Eddie Hearn saying it's happening, but then Jake Paul just said the only fight I have lined up is Chavez Jr. on June 28th on DAZN. I keep hearing all these boxing talking heads saying if Julio takes it serious, he wins. Well, he's been training since December when we first approached him, so y'all need to shut the hell up when I dispose of him. But real quick, if you take a look at this, this is what he recently said before the fight was even scheduled, that he thought he was light work.
All right, so the WBA convention is here. WBA President Gilberto Mendoza has said a couple times that he'd be willing, he wouldn't be against you having a title fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. said that you guys are negotiating the fight. What are your thoughts on Mendoza's comments and Julio Cesar Chavez as an opponent?
I want someone tougher, and I want a real belt, not just like something that gets put up for entertainment value. So it's great and all, but like honestly, he's easy work, and I want someone tougher to shut people up.
Okay, last question.
Is there any names, any tougher names out there?
I mean, there's like a long line of people like that they can take a ticket and get in line to see who I want to fight next. Seriously, like I don't say that as shit talk. I'm the biggest payday in the sport of boxing right now, so everyone wants to fight, and when you're the hot girl on the block, you can do what the fuck you want.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Just to finish on that point, Jake Paul is the biggest boxer in male boxing. Amanda Serrano is the biggest boxer in female boxing. These two are the faces of boxing from my perspective. That's why every single fighter is calling them out. And that's why when they do the trilogy, it's going to be one of the biggest events that's ever happened across all sports. 75 million people watched Amanda Serrano endure a headbutt with a massive cut on her eye and fight through it. So every girl, young lady, and woman is gonna have a stake when that trilogy happens. Thank you guys.
As we see right there, Jake previously thought that, Julio Cesar Chavez wouldn't be a fight at all. And then after he posted his message that, he's not in talks with anybody else, he posted this as well. It's not his fault. He's just a pawn passing a message. But these promoters will do anything for money. So, I don't know who else he could be talking about other than Eddie Hearn. But if so, who is Eddie Hearn passing the message to or got the message from? And I don't know how Eddie Hearn would be making any money off saying this. Does anybody have any idea how you could be making any money off just saying that Jake Paul might be fighting Tank in November? If you do, let me know in the comments. But now, if we go to the comments about Jake fighting Chavez Jr., look what some of the people had to say, and it's not so nice. Okay, so actually we're not going to look at the original tweet where he says he's fighting Chavez because that was older. But this one that he just, put up, this is what people had to say. And I don't know, tell me if you agree or disagree in the comments. Because to start it off, we got a few people saying Julio definitely the most challenging fighter that Jake's ever been put up against. I don't know. I think personally Tyron Woodley, especially the first time, that was probably the toughest. But we got other people saying this. Kyle White saying, is there any chance you fighting an active boxer in their prime, Jake? Why do they have to be nearly 60, not fought in years, or some MMA guy? You're supposed to be a boxer, at least compete with some ranked fighters. And then we got someone else saying, why does Eddie Hearn have to try to confirm fights like he's the one promoting or making them? Other stuff about him. But this guy said, you're just looking for a payday. In the exact same manner as the ones that you call bums. You're no different. You clearly stand out as a gimmick fighter on your loaded cards. All real fights, then you're the main gimmick event. One day, a YouTuber boxer will use your 40-year-old ass. I don't know what that means. Someone saying negative stuff about Chavez, which a lot of these comments actually did as well. But then we got some love for Jake too. They will make excuses, bro. Just keep your head down and keep pushing forward through the hate, champ. And then other people saying Chavez Jr. ain't ready. This is going to be a body bag. And that's very interesting because I honestly know what I think, but I want to know what you think. Do you think this will go all 8 or 10 rounds? I'm not even sure how many rounds this is yet. I'm guessing 8. Or do you think Chavez actually has a chance at winning? Wouldn't that be something? Chavez stops Jake Paul's career like that? I don't really see that happening. Or do you think Jake Paul is going to win? And do you think he's going to win by a decision? Or do you think he's going to get back into that KO thing where he knocks him out flat? I personally, right here, I'm going to predict right now a 5th round KO. That's my prediction. Let me know yours in the comments. Thank you guys for watching.